Hello, everyone, and welcome. Our guest today is none other than Hash, a motion designer and 3D artist, or I've heard a lot of people mention that he's the Desi heartthrob. Hash is known for his colorful and creative 3D world, which is full of his unique characters, which have allowed him to work with clients such as Nickelodeon, Doctor Who, Westfield, and Adobe. His work is super unique, creating a distinctive world which brings you into the Zloops. The Zloops? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, slopes, yeah.
Zloops. Zloops world, which emerged during the NFT COVID era. He's also helped run the London Brown Inc. Event with Leka, helping South Asians in the creative industry find a community and a safe place to network. Hash, welcome.
Cheers, man. Thank you so much. What an intro.
It's all good. It's so good, man. Yeah. How's the year been treating you so far? How's it going?
Yeah, it's been okay. January as a freelancer is always sort of slow, and yeah, a little bit quiet. But coming into February, thankfully, a few things picking up. Sort of normally how it goes anyway. But yeah, it's been good. It's given me some time to work on like showreel, branding, personal stuff, and sort out like life admin, I guess, until hopefully things start getting busy again.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, how have I guess we've obviously had conversations off camera about how tough last year's been and stuff. You quite hopeful and optimistic about the rest of the year going forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing you can do, right? It's definitely been tough. Last year was a hard one. Um, I think in all my freelance years, it was probably the one which was the toughest and the quietest. Yeah, everyone just seems to collectively have been having a little bit of issues in terms of contractors and freelancers and just work coming in and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully things just really pick up. I guess it sometimes can be seasonal. Sometimes it's like what's things that you're not in control of and budgets being taken away and all sorts of stuff or things being stalled, world events, whatever. So in sort of general practice as a freelancer, you just got to kind of sit tight and hold and like wait it out.
Yeah, no, for sure. How long have you been freelancing for now?
So I've been freelancing since 2013.
Oh,
So yeah, good like 11 years coming into 14 maybe years.
yeah.
Yeah, sort of straight out of university just happened to be the thing that I fell into, and just never looked back since.
And how was that journey when you came straight out of university? It must have been special during that time because I guess a lot of people try to go to industry first, get a bit of experience, and then go freelancing. If you went straight into freelancing, what was that like for you?
I think so like freelancing worked because I was living a bit of that student life anyway. So I was okay with not making like I was living with my parents. I don't need to be making enough money to pay rent or whatever, or just, it was okay to get a few gigs here and there. And because I kind of just fell into it, it just happened to be that I was at my design degree show, someone saw my work and recommended me. Um, it was a natural thing to just kind of fall into it, see what happens. The idea was definitely like every other graduate was to probably try and get into a studio or go and work at an agency, whatever it was. Full-time employment is always the thing that is like the norm, obviously. But yeah, having just fell into freelance maybe was best for me because I was like, okay, let's just try this out, see what happens. And then thankfully over time, gradually just started to work on different projects, meet different people through that process. And it just happened to stick, I guess.
Nice, that's really cool. Yeah, I've noticed that you recently you're now represented by H plus.
Yeah.
What is that? What is that journey like? As someone who's not really in the freelancing world, like how does something like that happen? How does that something go about?
Yeah, I mean, getting an agent in general is a cool thing to do, and it depends where you are in your career, maybe. So they just represent me, and they represent me for the US. So they kind of act like your manager, I guess, in the traditional sense of like any sort of art, music artist or actor, whatever. I don't know. That's probably the best way to put it. Um, and they help you find work. They help put your name out there. If they go to all sorts of different festivals or whatever different places to go and basically just pitch your work and who you are. And it, because they're from the US, it's good for me. It's a market that I've not touched. And the idea is for them to just like get me more commissioned work, and that's sort of want to do more of. And yeah, the sort of agent, having a representation sort of thing is maybe something you do a little bit later on in your career. It's hard to get it in the beginning because you need to sort of have a good portfolio and have been around enough at least to be able to be represented and you
Mm,
know
yeah, no.
then be able to sell your work to others, I guess.
Yeah. And is it something where you kind of just thought like the time was right for this step, or is it something that they approached you with? How did that kind of evolve?
I think there was some conversations for quite a few years. I've spoken to them like maybe pre-COVID, a long time ago. Probably wasn't right yet then. I just didn't have the body of work that I have now. And then I've had a few other agents and then, yeah, it sort of just felt right now and linked up and it's fresh. It's only really signed up to them properly since January. So it's only been a month. But yeah, hopefully things will progress and we'll see what kind of cool stuff we can work on together.
Sure, yeah, no, definitely. So hopefully it's going to be really, really exciting for you. Yeah. So let's go back a bit to I guess the COVID era for you, because that's when I kind of really discovered you in the first place, and I started following you, fascinated and in love with your work, really. But yeah, how was that? How was that time for you? Because I know for yourself, you really kind of started to define your style. You kind of got out there. You're doing a lot of NFT work. How was that era for you? Can you just explain like what's going on for you at the time?
Yeah, so I mean, so I was thankful to be a freelancer at that time, I would say, because and being remote as a motion designer setup, I had all the setup at home already. So yeah, not being able to go into the office, I was thankfully kind of busy work wise. I had a lot going on, um, but then like with everyone else, we sort of just had loads of time and started to try and play around with my own art style more, and started to sort of fall into love with characters. Something I've always done before, but I guess within the 3D world, it's just a bit hard to uh, even think about making something in 3D that was character led because yeah, it's like you need to just practice and stuff like that. But yeah, started to create these characters, having fun with them, and then I think the NFT boom sort of helped out, I guess, because I started to get into that a little bit and that sort of pushed me to create like art more and art that I could sell. So I guess it just like accelerated me wanting to like create my own style and create these characters in this universe. Um, and then yeah, just really pushing it, keep pushing it, keep pushing it, keep making more art. Thankfully through NFTs, started getting some sales that helped. Um, uh, yeah, just it was a good time, I guess, to just like focus on, we had nothing else to do to just focus on doing my own art.
Yeah, cool. No, that's amazing. I'm glad you had that time because, yeah, like I said, like, it's the time where I kind of discovered you, and I'm sure many other people did at that time. I seen like during around the same time, you obviously were producing some stickers, some posters, lots of like digital and physical art, and you've just mentioned, you're getting into loads of different types of things. Then is that something you always had in mind, or is that something that's just kind of like naturally evolved for you as an artist?
I think naturally, bro. I don't think I ever thought I'd have like a style thing. When I got into motion design and the industry in general, I thought I'd just be like a generalist, which is totally fine. But as I found my style, I was like, oh, this is cool, and people were interested in it, and I think that was nice to know that there was an interest. So then, yeah, making like merch kind of stuff, or just playing around with the little character universe that I made in natural, like you said, and um, yeah, it's been fun to just like explore that more and see what else I can do with it, and hopefully do a lot more with that world.
In terms of creating that world and that kind of like universe, how has that been? Is that something you've kind of always had in mind? Is it something that's kind of slowly developed? Because you've now got several characters. I know you've sold some as NFTs as well. I know you put out a post, I think either yesterday or today, just recently talking about how you're constantly thinking about that world and expanding it. But recently there's been a lot of like, I guess, anxiety towards it and making it perfect. Yeah, if you could just explain about that too.
Um, yeah, I think I've just been trying to, yeah, just trying to push making that little universe. It's something that feels like it's my own. Um, but yeah, you talk about the sort of anxiety stuff that I've been talking about. Yeah, it's hard sometimes, like, because it's my own work and there's no like client, there's no deadline behind it. That's sometimes almost worse for me. I'm definitely someone who works based on like timelines and like I need kind of restrictions and that's how I predominantly always worked and created. So the moment I started doing my own art and looking to sell it and looking to like, work with other clients and stuff, it definitely has been a bit tough. Um, uh, and it's because we're like, as artists, we're very like, critical and judgmental of any art and design in general. But when it comes to your own stuff, I definitely do think we like beat ourselves up a little bit about it because yeah, there's no like timeline, there's no like specific. You can just keep creating, and it can sometimes hold us back. And there's something I've been going through a little bit, which is okay. And I think I'll learn to like overcome it. I just need to like have the most important thing with like your own art or whatever personal projects you do is that you have fun and you enjoy it. Otherwise, it turns into like client work. Um, and so sometimes, yeah, it's just like taking a little bit of a step back and enjoying that process again.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And you can really tell with the kind of work that you produce, like you really do enjoy it and the fun is there. Just with all the colorfulness and the playfulness of the characters. Like, yeah, I guess in terms of like how they've developed and how the kind of work universe has developed, how was that for you? Because um I guess, yeah, seeing them from the outset, like they're kind of very robotic characters. Was that always your intention to design something that was like uh humanoidistic but not really there like robots or
I don't know. I think it's just sort of toy-like from childhood, and I've like I said, I couldn't getting into character design was hard, so I've made them in a way where it was like it's easy to build them, and who knows, they might develop into like different things later on. But the idea definitely is to just like it's meant to feel like very toy-like, like it's all like clay. They're meant to feel like really simple, primitive objects that can put together.
yeah,
And that way also it makes it fun for me because the moment I start worrying about like, oh, it needs to look be so specific, and the shoes need to look like this, or it needs to have
yeah,
clothes, or it needs to have a mouth. Uh, you get into like the nitty gritty details, and sometimes that can like it just makes it a slow process. And I've with all of my personal stuff, it has to be easy to do. Like I have to have an idea and be like, I can execute this as fast as possible. Otherwise,
yeah,
yeah, it just becomes like long and boring and uh, yeah, it restricts like any sort of creativity that you have.
for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. And I guess for those that don't know, like animating characters in 3D involves quite a tedious, long rigging process. Yeah, was this something that you had to learn for this specifically to develop the characters, or is this something you always knew and you kind of brought into it?
No, no, totally fresh, and it's still something I'm doing now. I'm doing like loads of tutorials to just learn how to rig. I used to use stuff like Mixamo, which if people don't know is like auto rigging, so you can like upload your character and it helps you. It has like a whole bank of different positions and movements and dances or whatever, and that's cool and all. But if you want more like specific stuff, you need to get into like proper character animation. And like you said, yeah, it's like super tedious. I'm like slowly learning it now, and I'm doing lots of like online tutorials and courses, and yeah, sort of just see what happens with that. But it's a process for sure. Character animation is like a completely different beast when it comes to animation and motion design.
No, definitely for sure. And you mentioned you're doing loads of courses and tutorials. Like, yeah, it's always good to just keep learning and developing your skills. Is there
Yeah.
anything aside from that that you're kind of working on at the moment? Or
Uh, no, not really. I think yeah, just sort of pushing, um, just keep doing like different tutorials and learning different things. I think that's been a constant throughout my career is to always learn new techniques and to always level up. I think especially as a freelancer, it's important because you kind of have to stay like ahead of the game. Um, and your work and what the work that you get from clients is dictated so much by the effort you put in and the skills you have. It's very different to maybe working at a studio where like it's based on the clients that the studio already has or whatever. You're basically on your feet a lot more, and you got to be like constantly learning and striving and pushing, and it's tough sometimes. Like there's new software coming out, there's new plugins, there's it just keeps getting better and better. So yeah, you just gotta like keep working at it, and that's just all I do really.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. It's obviously very important, especially as designers. I kind of want to sidestep this question a little bit and involve a bit of your culture and background. Do you feel like it's potentially the old, like, you have to work harder to be seen, to be out there, kind of old, saying from our parents' generation that we had, that has kind of brought that mentality about? Or is it like just how your industry is and you think it's obviously a key and crucial part of it?
I think a mixture of both. I think a mixture of both for sure, and especially being South Asian and getting into art as it was tough. Um, for two big reasons. One was like there's people that don't look like us, obviously in general, so it was hard to just get into the industry, being brown and trying to break through and stuff like that. But then yeah, just as well, like because my parents and family and people didn't really get what I was doing, I knew I had to like try and be the best at it. Um, there was that pushing thing of if I'm gonna choose to do this thing, which is not the norm, I've got to like get really good, and it's almost like yeah, like I said, that mentality of almost like even like showing people like, look, it is possible, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I've learned to like live with that stuff a lot better now, and come to terms with like that, whole thing of who I am and my background and stuff like that, and my culture and identity. And um, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely understand that. Yeah, in terms of, I guess, how you got into the arts, and what was that journey like for you? Because you said it was quite a difficult one being South Asian. Like, how
Yeah,
how did you get into it?
I think I was. I mean, like most artists and designers, you're definitely probably better at the art stuff in school over like other academic stuff, and that's the same for me. Really good at art class, really good at design technology, all these different things, but never like thought about it really. It was just like a thing that you did as a kid. You drew or painted, whatever. But then I took a photography course in secondary school, at GCSE, and I think I just really saw and noticed like, okay, I could really dial in. It was a one course, or sorry, it was a one, you know, lesson out of everything else where I was really focusing, and I love the practical side of it. And then that took me on to like, okay, you go to college, uh, ended up going to like media and design and film, and then thankfully sort of being shown like After Effects and motion graphics. It wasn't that big back in 2008. After Effects was still probably only used by industry people. It wasn't like as general for a lot of designers.
Yeah.
And sort of yeah, just started getting into it, started doing tutorials, Video Copilot, all these like early things where it was just like a easy way to learn it. You just follow along, and it's like free knowledge online. And yeah, it's just sort of like fell into it almost. Still didn't know if I wanted to become a designer or artist, and especially when you're at school and uni, they speak about it in a bit of a different way. You're not told what you can kind of do. And yeah, thankfully managed to go to uni for motion design and history or something.
Nice, nice. How was your uni experience? How did you feel about it?
Uni was okay. Unfortunately, I went. I think when I got into animation and motion design, it wasn't that popular still. There's like a hell of a lot more courses and universities that are doing it. So I think I went to like one of the two unis in London that happen to have a motion design course. And it was okay. It was, I learned sort of basics. But it was maybe taught a little bit different back then. It was still a little bit more like old school design teaching rather than like animation and motion design, like in practice sort of stuff. So I didn't get to learn as much as I thought I would. But that's okay. I spent a lot of time just learning After Effects and within my own time. And those 3 years were like a nice buffer to try and figure out kind of what I want to do as an artist. And like,
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if nothing else, university definitely gives you the time to have space to think, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned, you went to university in London. I personally obviously know you were born and bred in London. Does that how has, living in such a like creative city, such a vast city, like I mean it's small in size, but such a big city in terms of like how populated it is, different cultures and diversity. How has that affected you and your art, would you say?
Um, I think I'm being super fortunate, if anything, being in such a like busy, crazy city where there's so much going on. There's so much inspiration. There's like exhibitions, galleries. There's all sorts of stuff happening all the time. Um, and then finding work, thankfully, especially in the early days, like I was very fortunate because this London is just the place to be when it comes to the advertising industry. Um, so that's been like super fun. And then yeah, just like being around lots of creative people, loads of people here are artists and designers and filmmakers and musicians, whatever. So it's definitely helped me out a lot, and like kept me going throughout all the years. I don't see myself, especially in the immediate future, being anywhere else but London. It just feels like a place. Feel great.
Nice, that's cool. That's really, really nice to hear. Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously I've lived in London as well, but yeah, I'm like, I want to go now. I kind of want to leave, but yeah, it's good to hear that you still want to stay. Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
been,
there's sometimes is times where it's like, yeah, it's a bit too much. But
yeah,
I think right now in my career wise, I still need to sort of stick around. Things have changed,
yeah,
and you don't need to be in the big cities as much anymore. How we work, keep us over remote and stuff like that. But it definitely does help.
definitely. Where would you go if you could pick a city that isn't London right now?
Uh, don't know. Maybe a European city, or maybe somewhere in Asia. Don't know.
Yeah,
My wife is Malaysian, so of the idea of being somewhere in like a hot tropical country would be incredible.
yeah, for
It's
sure.
just the time difference and stuff like that. It's just the issue sometimes.
Of course, no, definitely. Yeah, I'm sure your family would miss you as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I guess just kind of kind of going back to the topic of being South Asian and stuff. I mentioned obviously you work with the Browning community, and how I just kind of wondered how did that kind of happen? How did that get started for you? What kind of led you to want to do something like that?
yeah. I mean, I think I just came across it, probably like yourself on Instagram and stuff. I can't
Mhm.
remember, but yeah, I met the team. They've been going for like a year or so. Rajib and Vijaya, I think, the founders, and met the team after maybe like a year of them doing events. Just happened to manage to go to one. I always wanted to, but schedule region. Went and I was just like, I fell in love with it. I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. I've never been in a room full of other people that like look like us, and it's so important to find that community. And yeah, just sort of fell in love with the idea of the event and met all these incredible people. And then yeah, just started going to a couple of them, and and then after uh sort of during a talk, I was invited by them to do a talk for one of the events that they had, and um they just sort of started asking, yeah, do you want to help out and stuff. I was like, yeah, for sure, I'd love to do it. And it's been really fun and great doing it as the speed networking that we do, which is just getting a bunch of different creatives together and giving them a chance to spend like an hour to meet each other basically and chat. You can sort of talk about whatever you want as well. It's really open and relaxed. It's a nice little safe space for artists to come along. And yeah, if you're from the community, it gives you maybe even gives you like a bit of hope, gives you a bit of something to say, look, there's other people like us. And there's like a possibility for you to go and get your dream career or whatever it is. And yeah, it's just been like a really fun thing to be a part of. And it also giving me a lot of like confidence to get back out there and go to more networking events and do loads of different things. But yeah, overall it's been amazing.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. Like you said, like it is inspirational to go. But yeah, I do believe anyone, if you're South Asian and enjoying the creative industry, come on down. They're really, really good. How I guess um how has it been for you? Because you host those events, you don't really necessarily like take part too much. So how has that side of things been?
It's yeah, something new, completely new. Had to sort of get out of my comfort zone to do something like that. And yeah, it's been really fun. It's nice, like being able to just help out on that side of things. And through it, I get to like just meet loads of different people and um, definitely want to like build out on that thing and do more sort of events and more South Asian creative like led sort of events. Doesn't have to be meetups in that sense. So I have like tinkered with the idea of like doing a running group or I don't know, like loads of different things would be like great to be able to just get people together. But yeah, definitely a little bit tough in the beginning because I'm like I think I'm more of an introvert, so I had to like step outside of that a bit and to be able to like almost like yeah, like organize and present and speak at, outwardly is a bit tough, but it's been really good. It's helped me out a lot. It's been a massive like confidence boost for me.
Cool. No, amazing. That's really, really cool to hear. Yeah. Um, I guess just kind of going back to your work now. You recently did the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Award thing. How was that? How did you get that project? How was it in terms of like working on it, developing it? Could you tell us a bit more about like the creative process for it? Because I mean, it was cool to see like someone who's obviously grown up watching Nickelodeon and watching those award shows. Yeah, it's like wow, like I know someone who built the intro for it now. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. It was the yeah, the greatest thing, the best project I've ever worked on, the like most fun I've ever had. A real like dream opportunity. Um, so it was through Studio Morris, who's a yeah, like a London based small but like agile um I guess like would I say like agency or studio? I don't know
Yeah,
anyway, but yeah, just a nice cool collective of incredible artists, run by Aries, who's incredible and been around the industry for a long, long time. And yeah, they just sort of reached out to me. And what was cool, I think they saw some of my, oh, they definitely did because they mentioned it as a reference point. They saw a lot of my like personal work and a lot of character building, and I guess they saw it just aligned with the Nickelodeon universe, which is so cool. It is in the colorful, playful like animation style. It felt all right. And just said, yeah, do you want to sort of work on this? I helped out on the pitching process, which was really cool. So being able to like sort of set the tone was something I've also never really done before. So that
yeah,
was cool. Be able to help out from the beginning, and then they won it, and then yeah, we're just kicking off like a long. I think it was like a good maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months worth of work. It was a big chunk of time to be working sort of thing, and yeah, it's for Nickelodeon, so the IP is incredible and playful and right up my street.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, a super fun project, a lot of work. It is for like a award show, though, so there's so many different outputs. There's so much different facets of what that come together for a show. And it obviously goes out live as well, so everything
yeah,
needs to be just like ready until the day. And the team went out to America to make sure everything's live on set and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, just like an incredible fun project and crazy.
yeah.
Like you said, like grew up watching Nickelodeon, so it was really surreal working with all the different assets and all the different like brand related stuff which we saw when we were kids.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Was that all provided to you guys, or did you guys have to create the assets from scratch on that project?
No, I think probably like 90% of stuff was created from scratch, and we
Ah,
worked with another studio, um, uh, which helped out doing Double Up Studio, which helped out doing which helped out doing making a lot of the like models and stuff like that, and then they passed it to me, and I put it together for like the main 30 or 20-second show intro. Um, but yeah, that was also what was incredible about that project is that so much of it was created by us, and like we were given freedom to play with like their universe. and the SpongeBob world and stuff like that, which is quite
Yeah.
rare. A lot of the time, as you know, like you're just given assets to animate or whatever. So it was cool to be able to like from scratch make almost everything, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. I guess this is also because of your photography background, and you said it was the kind of like course you paid most attention to. But I think in your personal work and even in that, you can kind of really see like the composition. And I think that's something about your work that I really kind of like really admire is like you always have really nice compositions. And maybe that's just something coming through from your background. But yeah, yeah, it's really really cool to kind of see that
Yeah.
in this as well. But yeah, you mentioned, you worked on the pitch for this, and you don't really get to do much of that. Like, can you explain what your process generally tends to be when it comes to working on client work and
Yeah.
how good it was to like be able to just be a bit more involved in the beginning for the pitching?
Yeah. I think traditionally it's always like motion design or, yeah, predominantly motion animation is a little bit of an afterthought. The assets and everything is made by the designers and graphic designers, art directors, and then it's sort of handed to us to bring life to it, I guess. So it was nice to be able to, start from scratch, be called in the pitch process, and kind of set the tone for the project. And it's definitely something I want to do a lot more of. It's just, yeah, you don't always get that opportunity when you're working on brand related stuff or like client related stuff because, yeah, they sort of have the look and feel set already. Um, and yeah, it was just really cool to be able to like, uh, say like, okay, this looks this way, this feels this way, this animates in this way. Um, and then be able to like use that as a starting point for everyone to go and like, yeah, create this crazy massive world. Um, the Nickelodeon Kid Choice Awards.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. Amazing. Yeah, glad to hear it. Yeah, I guess moving on just a little bit, you've become kind of a big influencer these days. You're kind of always using influencer-based content. What has that kind of been like, and how have you kind of found that journey? What kind of brought that about for you?
Um, I'd say content creator actually,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
but I don't know. I guess I've always been most of the stuff that I've learned is from other artists. You know, watching Gresco Grillo or Video Copilot, and all these people that like just put stuff out there. Before they were businesses or whatever. Just put out knowledge and stuff that they've learned. And I always thought like, oh, I'd love to do that one day. And that's sort of always the idea is like, if I learn something and I'm like, oh, someone else could learn this. It's nice to just put it out, make a tutorial or do a review or whatever it is. And I guess I've been pushing it more the last year because I know it helps with like brand awareness and like who I am, pushing me more as an artist. And that's sort of predominantly why I do it more is so people can see who it is behind the art. Because I think that helps uh, create a better like story of what the art is and what I create. And I think seeing the artists behind it is like a nice thing to be able to do, especially in this world of like, there's just so many people out there creating so much incredible work and there's so much noise and there's so much going on. It's nice to maybe like see the person that is like creating the art. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
been fun in general, just like making these videos and tutorials, and it's another like facet of what I do, I guess. And it allows me to like take a break from maybe like just always creating to do something a little bit different, break out
Nice.
and yeah, be creative in another way.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever thought about, I guess, teaching or going down that path as well, just because of the kind of content you create?
Yeah, I would love to do it. Maybe in the future. I'd definitely love to do like a tutorial course or something like an online course and that. I've done a few classes at my old uni, which was like super fun and humbling and like cool to be able to go and give back. Uh, so yeah, I'd love to do more of that kind of stuff. It's just time. It's a lot. Like you gotta
Yeah.
give like people that do that stuff and teachers and people that do courses online. You gotta give them credit because it's a lot of work you got to put in, a lot of pre-production sort of work. Um, but yeah, definitely something that I want to do more of.
No, no, that's cool for sure. Yeah, hopefully we get to see more of it. I'd love to see a tutorial course from you, man. That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah. I don't know if anyone else has ever kind of like mentioned this to you, but I've always found like your work is quite reminiscent of Tim. Do
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
yeah, I
kind
know
of
it's more, yeah.
similar, similar in the pattern style. Have you guys ever spoken? Have you guys ever like talked about doing any kind of collaboration? Because I can feel like your two worlds could work really, really well together.
Yeah, no, we haven't actually, but I think we follow each I follow her. I don't know if I think they follow me, I'm not sure. But, yeah, I love the sort of similar pattern work that we have, which is really cool. It's a bunch of different artists like that, and I guess everyone takes inspiration from each other or yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be cool to be able to do some sort of, like, massive project,
Mhm.
one day
Yeah, yeah.
where with people with, like, similar themes and look and feel for their type of work. But yeah, you never know.
Yeah, yeah. Have you done any kind of collaborations with anyone? Or is that something you're just still kind of thinking and planning?
Hopefully something in the near future with some artists.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, nothing yet. I guess it's always finding and making sure it feels right. Actually, no, wait, I did do something with an artist, Greg Mike. Yeah, I did an NFT collab with them, which was really cool, and it got exhibited at Miami Basel, is it called? Art Basel
Yeah,
in
yeah.
America. So that was cool. But yeah, I think it needs to feel right. It needs to feel like, and it needs to feel like natural. It can't be sort of forced, like two different styles smashing them
Yeah.
together and trying to make it right. It's got to feel like nice and like creative and collaborative, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Very organic. Yeah. I hope it happens, man. I'd love to see more of it. Going back to your work again, you also did like a really big display at Westfield. That was like multiple screens, multiple different sizes. What was it like working on a project at that kind of scale? Because I guess in motion design, a lot of what we tend to do, unless it's broadcasting, tends to be on a smaller scale. So yeah, I guess having gone from kind of like the more classical sense of motion design into like more of a broadcasting Nickelodeon and Westfield kind of stuff. How's that been? Was that
Yeah.
quite a learning journey?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a massive, like, yeah, learning curve to do things on scale. And the Westfield thing was different because um, it was using a particular screen size and they wanted like I forgot what it's called now, but it's like if you stand at a certain point, it looks like it's coming out and jumping out at you. And
Oh, yeah.
obviously, I forgot. For some reason, it's totally lost in my head what it's called, but it's becoming a lot more popular with like out of home digital, out of home big screens. It's like super eye catching, and also like it works really well on social media. But this was Westfield in Paris. Obviously, I couldn't go there. I couldn't like see what the place looked like, and testing was very very limited with the team that I worked with. So it's a lot of like looking at reference videos, looking at different like plans of how they put together the screen and even the surrounding area and like sort of trying to map it all out in 3D before committing to making this thing for the big screen. Yeah, it was just like completely different to what I was used to, which is mostly like stuff being created, 9 by 16 or 16 by 9 on the screen. So it was a massive learning curve, but fun and something I want to do like so much more because the end result of it is obviously incredible and amazing to be able to have your art displayed on such a big screen and in such a being in a shopping mall was incredible because there was just so much football and so many people seeing it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, super cool project to work on.
for sure. And was that mostly just you working on it solo?
Yeah, it was almost like a commission project, I guess.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah.
It was through ArtPoint, who are like a vendor for um different uh different companies or like retail places that have digital screens, and they sort of just help get artists to get their art up there, and maybe it gets licensed as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. It's incredible. Wow. Yeah, I can't believe it, man. It's just such a cool thing to be able to like go out and see. And yeah, I mean, having your artwork out in the world like that on massive screens it's just be really, really cool. We spoke a bit about like anxiety and just kind of like imposter syndrome earlier. Like, how has that been for you? Because you're obviously quite honest and open about it as well. Do you find that maybe sometimes it gets a bit much just being the one who speaks about this so openly, or is it something you feel like, you want to do to make sure other young artists understand that this happens, like, it's part of the journey.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I think it's fine. I think I I'm a lot more open and honest about it nowadays. Because yeah, like you said, I think it's important for people to know that, like, yeah, we all sort of struggle and go through our different mental barriers and stuff. Um, and it's something that like you're just always working with. It's a thing that you have. It might not ever go away, and that's like you gotta learn to be okay with it and just learn to deal with it. And I have like horrible anxiety, like day to day anxiety in general. Um, and I think definitely speaking about it is that like part of that therapy and being open and honest and um yeah, I just think like it's life. You just gotta be like okay with this sort of stuff and you have ups and downs, you have good days and bad days. But yeah, you just gotta sort of keep at it and keep working on yourself and try and be like the best version of you whenever you can.
yeah, no, of course, that's super important. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We also spoke briefly about, universities and giving you time to think. And then we also mentioned that, you should just do every single tutorial out there in the world if you've got time and really hone in on your craft. Do you find that universities are still an important place to be able to give people the space to come into this industry, or do you think they're no longer relevant,
It's
especially with how
hard.
much they're charging?
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think that's it, is the cost, um, compared to, like, the output, I don't think is worth it anymore for animation and 3D artists. Maybe for, like, other creative industries, I'm not too sure, I can't speak on. But if you wanna be an animator or a 3D artist, I think for sure doing a paying to do, like, an online course is so much better nowadays. 'Cause the courses nowadays are online, are like motion design school and stuff. They're so good that they give they'll have an industry person teaching you. It will be, maybe a month-long course, and you'll learn so much, and they'll review it as well, like, and you'll have some of them even have, like, one-on-one sessions, and there's all sorts of different things that are included now. It's not just like watching someone on YouTube teach you or whatever. It's a lot more interactive as well. I just think those things are better. I don't think it's worth doing a 3-year thing where you're spending so much money trying to get a degree. And also like industry practice is just not taught at university still to this day, from what I hear from students. So yeah, like there's a big part of also learning on the job. So, doing internships and all these things. And I just think 3 years having that much debt as well, it's just not worth it. Um, yeah, the ways of like learning vary so much now, and it's okay not to have like the degrees doesn't mean as much as it used to probably back in the days within our
Yeah,
work. So
yeah,
yeah, I'd say it's probably better to do like a more intense course somewhere else and save a lot more money and time.
yeah, for sure. No, no, appreciate that as well. For sure. I'm conscious of the time, and I don't want to like take up too much more of your time. But I've got some rapid fire questions, if you don't mind. We'll
Yeah.
just do like some quick ones if that's cool. Um, yeah, I guess the first one is, if you weren't in the design industry today, what do you think you'd be doing?
That's a tough one. What would I be doing? I trained to be an engineer at college, so I think probably I would have ended up going into electrical engineering somehow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Matt's was very different as well. He was like, "Oh, I'd be a stunt man." I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough."
No, I don't think it would be that. I don't think it'd be that like crazy far off.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's cool. yeah, I guess if you're doing electrical engineering, I guess how would that have kind of come out for you? Would you, because I know you studied engineering before.
Yeah.
Would you just continue have gone down that route? Was it something that like your family kind of like was like, oh, maybe you should go down this route? I know
Yeah,
being my
yeah.
agent.
Yeah, for sure. My dad wanted me to kind of do it. I also had an interest in it, and there's definitely like things that have transferred across, like my love for engineering and like the details of things, and especially electrical engineering. You have to. It was a little bit more practical, but then though I could kind of take that into learning software, and there was definitely like a crossover for sure. When I look back in hindsight, I was like, oh, okay. And I'm still like that now. I like to figure things out and go into like the real nitty-gritty details of things.
It's quite technical. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. What kind of music are you currently listening to while you're working?
You know what? I just play like Spotify radio. It's just whatever's on. I guess it's like a lot of Fred again, a lot of UK stuff, a lot of like UK grime or like sort of anything really. But yeah, a mixture of
What was
stuff.
your Wrapped?
What was my rap? I think it was yeah, I think it was like Fred again, Dave, maybe some like Burner Boy, maybe some AP Dylan. There was definitely some like Indian stuff as well. But
Nice.
yeah, like a nice mix, I guess.
That's cool. That's cool. I got romantic Bollywood as one of my
Oh wow.
genres. Yeah. I was like, oh god, I can't show anyone that.
The thing with Spotify Rap though is that if you just like if you play something on repeat by I don't know, you might just like
Yeah,
leave
yeah,
it, you might have left it on repeat and walked away. Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
will obviously just count that you'll keep playing the same song or something.
yeah, for sure. How do you kind of see the kind of like field evolving or the industry evolving in the next 5 to 10 years? It's a bit of a
It
bigger one.
yeah, it's tough as you know, AI and stuff like that is just
Yeah,
coming in and I mean we could talk about that for hours. That's like a hot topic right now. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um I think the artists and the designers who like find a niche will like be able to stick through it all. And I think being as original as possible is like super important. Uh, in a world of like where because of AI and all sorts of other reasons why everyone's trying to get the job done a lot faster. I think the people who are really true to their craft will like be able to stick through it. And then
yeah,
in terms of like the like just how it will look in the future. I don't know. I don't know if anything though, we should be optimistic because screens will always be around. Like like there's always going to be places for our work to live and exist. It's just like how it gets there, I guess. But yeah, we
yeah,
you just never know and never know how things will go.
yeah, for sure, of course. Um, where do you get your inspiration from?
Uh, it's always from other artists. So like Instagram, Behance, it's always like just seeing what other people are doing and um yeah, just taking like, oh, I like the way they've used this, or I like the way they've used this color or pattern. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, inspiration's always from like how other people do stuff, I guess.
yeah. Oh, that's really, really cool. Do you ever speak to any of these artists that you're inspired by? Do you ever hit
Uh,
them up?
you know what? Going to more like networking events has been cool, especially here in London, because yeah, you do get to like meet people that you maybe been following for years, uh, and yeah, that's been kind of nice to be able to like develop like friendships and just yeah, being able to like pick people's brains more, I guess, as well. But yeah, there's also no harm in like DMing someone and be like, "Hey, I love your work," like we chat or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. We spoke a little bit about anxiety, and just that kind of side of things. But what kind of non-creative work keeps you grounded? What kind of stuff are you doing? Like, it could be any hobbies or anything.
I mean, I think for me, it's always just like uh, getting out and getting out of the house, and so like exercise is just massive for me. I have to have some sort of schedule when it comes to like uh, running or going to the gym. Yeah, anything that can help me like do something where I'm not thinking so much about like the art and trying to be creative. Um, and also just get away from the desk. It's so important. Like we spend so much time hunched over here. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's super important to just like get away from it all sometimes. Get away from the screen as well, it's super important.
Yeah, for sure. No, anyone that follows you on Instagram will know you're an avid gym goer for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, no.
definitely. You're always quite organized with it. You're quite regimented.
I've become better now. I think the last couple of years I've become a lot better. And I've also like, as we just get older, you just realize I need
Yeah,
to create some sort of routine and make sure I'm doing this so I'm not stagnant and yeah, getting frail, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Any advice for anyone trying to break into your industry or the industry as it is currently? Obviously, it's been a tough year for you and I, so it's been hard for a lot of people. But yeah, what would you say?
Um, I don't know if I guess specifics for like 3D is to just learn as much as you can. Do all the online tutorials. The knowledge base is completely different to maybe when we started. There just wasn't as much out there. Now you can learn like, you can be on TikTok or Instagram and people are putting up like 1 minute tutorials of how to do something. And it's all out there. So I guess just like learning as much as you can and leveling up. And through that, you will find like your kind of niche or your style. And it's just being like super persistent with it. You can't think like, I'm just going to learn the basics and be whatever. No, you just got to like really go out there and like really, really dial in. I think it's so important to just like get into your craft and enjoy that process. And once you're doing all that kind of stuff and you with your output, like people will just see it. They'll see all the great work you're putting out there. And there's no other way. Like you can't cheat it. You can't cheat the craft. You just have to go through it all. And, and
Yeah,
in the beginning, it's gonna suck. Your intro to any software or whatever or plugin is gonna be like but it's just yeah, putting in the hours, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it just makes me smile because obviously I released a new showreel this year, and first one before that was 8 years ago. I looked back at it, and I was just like, "What is this garbage? Like,
Exactly.
what is this utter shit? I can't believe it got me a job." Like, I'll be completely honest with people. Like, it's just crap. But yeah, I
Mm.
saw you released a new showreel this year as well. How was that process for you?
Yeah, it was fun. It's always nice to like kind of look back and on the year and just yeah, update stuff and every year I do like a new like intro and branding sort of I sort of redo it. So yeah, it was fun. It's fun to just like put stuff together and whatever stuff I've learned well from that year, I'll keep with that interaction for the project.
Yeah. What movies or shows are you watching, and what would you recommend to people currently?
What man? What am I watching right now?
Or books. You can throw books in there as well if you read.
I don't really read that much. I do
Okay.
podcasts a lot. I've been
Yeah,
listening
yeah.
to Kill List. I listen to a lot of the criminology stuff. Just
Oh, nice. Interesting.
love all that world for certain true crime. I mean, listen to Kill
Yeah.
List. It's just really good. I highly recommend that. In terms of like shows and stuff, kind of always watching uh, sort of anything that's out there. I just finished. I mean, it was a better time. Industry was really good on BBC, which is about like the finance, like young graduates getting into um, the finance industry, and that was really really good. And
Yeah.
then I don't know, I think I finished Squid Games not too long ago, season 2.
Nice.
But yeah, just whatever's sort of popular and out there. I don't have as much time to watch films and series as I used to. Whenever I do, it's nice.
That's cool. Yeah. Final question for me is, what's your beard routine?
What do I do, man? I just what do I do? I just shampoo it. I have a beard shampoo, specific one, and then I just have the oil, and that's it. I just keep it nice and
Yeah, yeah.
tidy as possible.
Fair, fair. Is your hair curly? Because mine's really curly and it goes all over the place, and that's what I
If
find
it
really
gets
hard.
long like yours, then it can.
Yeah.
But that's why I
Okay.
try and keep it trim because for me,
Yeah.
then it just gets in the way, and I don't like it. I try and keep it as
Yeah.
trim as possible, but it
Uh,
can get super long. If I leave it to grow out, it can get
yeah.
like proper big.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've started straightening mine because it gets so curly and I just don't like it. So I'm just like straightening it now. But
Is
yeah,
that
yeah, that's
specific
me.
beard straighteners or like your wife's straighteners?
No, I use my wife's straighteners. I just use what I get, you know. But
I've seen
yeah,
on
no.
Instagram someone like made these like tiny ones for beards, but
Oh, for real?
I'm
Okay,
I'll be a
yeah,
bit
yeah. I think
scared to use that.
No, it gets really close to the skin, man. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
it's
what I'm saying,
it's
yeah.
not comfortable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My barber did it for me once, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just start straightening. He was like, yeah, obviously, your hair's too curly. He's like,
Fair
why are you
enough.
trying to grow a beard anyway? I was just like, reasons. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Hash, for coming on. It's been a pleasure. If you want to just let people know where they can find you, and we'll add the links in as well. That'd be great.
Yeah, yeah. I think my Instagram is probably the best, which is just at Hashmukh.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Really
Thanks, man.
appreciate it.